Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Friday afternoon. Trading is over for April. Monday kicks off May. So, hope everyone had a good day. Gonna tell you how, hope you have a wonderful weekend too, in case I forget later. Good afternoon, Jacob. Good afternoon, Royal Palms. Hey, Daniel. It's Friday. Patrick, happy Friday, George. Friday to people in the background. Interesting month-end trading day. Another rally continues. S&P currently up 88 basis points. Everything's up. Even the Russell was the strongest at 89 basis points. There we go. So we had the Bob on this morning after our live stream this morning. If you want to hear Bob's thoughts on stuff, tune back in if you did miss that evening, Charles. We had Chicago PMI, a little bounce higher, but still in contraction. Michigan consumer sentiment pretty much coming in line. What was interesting, the inflation expectations for 5 year coming in a little higher than expected, and for the short term, inflation coming in much higher, coming in with expectations, but much higher than previous. So the consumer definitely thinks inflation is not going anywhere, and even in 5 years it's going to be 3%. It's going to get interesting. Then we just had the rate counts. Next week, the big thing is Wednesday, rate hike. We got the ISM numbers and some S&P Global Manufacturing on Monday. On Tuesday, not much. Not much at all. Wednesday, again, the big thing is Fed interest rates. Thursday, you got jobless claims as always. And then Friday, non-farm payroll, first Friday of the month. So Friday, right after a rate hike too. I think they will be putting in a rate hike, even though the odds are falling. But I just think that's got to be a month-end stuff. I mean, with these numbers really looking stagflationary, pretty much as long as you didn't buy Amazon or T-Mobile, you were in good shape today. Although Amazon, that huge reversal from the earnings last night. Energy, real estate, industrials, financials, and then technology leading it higher today. Fed watch, below 80%. I don't know what this thing's pricing in anymore. I mean, based off those PCE numbers, all right, 81% now. But look at the probabilities. I'm going to see how this compares on Monday after month end. Because, I mean, the 10-year yield was dropping, but there was, based off those numbers today, and there was no real additional recessionary numbers. I mean, the recession's already, in my book, it's coming anyways, but it's just when it's exactly going to hit. But this is a rate hike and then a pause through July, a cut in September or November, another cut in December, and then rates plummeting next year. So complete disagreement with what the Fed's been saying, and we are back solidly in greed mode. All right, who else do we have? Hello, options 22. My head is spinning now looking at ES. Who's buying 23 PE? That's what I'm saying. These, based even off these earnings that have been dialed back, I mean, people are paying up for, the market is priced for beyond perfection at this point. You're pricing it like no recession and everything's hunky-dory and like Fed's going to cut, inflation has gone away, consumers just going to keep buying everything. I don't see it, but we got to trade the market that is, not what we think. Remember that. Next week of earnings. Big day is Thursday with Apple. But we got some other stuff. We got BP, we got Pfizer on Tuesday, Uber, Marathon Oil. Monday's sort of quiet, although you got Transocean, MGM. What else? We have AMD after close on Tuesday, Ford, Starbucks on Tuesday. You know what? Starbucks should release their earnings in the morning. Because doesn't that seem like more of a Starbucks thing? You want coffee to kick off the day? I don't know. I can't drink coffee in the evening. At least I can't drink caffeinated coffee in the evening, else I don't get the bed and like till 2. CVS Wednesday. Yum Brands. Yum Yum. What else? Phillips 66. After the close, we got Qualcomm. That's and then some solar. Some solar. Moderna on Thursday. Peloton. Shell, ConocoPhillips. Again, after the close, Apple and Shopify, Block, Coinbase. And then Friday, AMC for all those apes. Fubo. But, you know, the big thing is it's still a busy week, but it's really going to be Tuesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon are the two big ones from my perspective. All right, S&P now clearly easily in double top territory. Easily in double top territory. In the last 2 days, wiped out. I mean, wow, this is again the highest close now. Might even eke out a higher close in February 2nd. We'll see. But well, at least we got a major line in the sand. And also, all right, now we're going to get the weekly close cycle still clearly at the top. After the dip in the weekly rotation zone, cycles not budged. Interesting going in. Weekly cycles at the top. You see also, if this triggers, we could have the rotation zone out of the way, which would increase the probabilities on the weekly, and it's out of the way on the daily, and every moving average except the 200 is out of the way. Climbing back to the top on, climbing back up there. So we're going to have to pay attention next week. We could get to a top area again. And even if we take out the highs from April, and even if we take out the highs potentially from February, it could still remain a potential double top. That's what I'm focused on for next week. And we are getting overbought on the weekly, in overbought territory on the weekly. See, the last time we were up in overbought territory, and the prior time we had multi-down weeks. Now we got cycles at the top, overbought. Is that a guarantee? No, we're going to have to get some confirmation of a rollover, but that's on my radar screen. NASDAQ, again, back to early April highs. No real, I mean, this is very lopsided for a double top. I'll probably put on the levels if we get down there, but I'm not going to do that for now. I'll share this now since no Sunday. When the yield curve bottoms, market has topped and will go sideways until the subsequent steepening and then the market crash. We shouldn't go higher than this. Well, there you go. You heard it from George. Again, NASDAQ, top, nearly top, overbought. So we shall see. We shall see, but this, again, you're going to have to trade what is, but we do have the Dow also has a potential topping pattern, and we are in the tops that we formed in January, mid-January, in mid-February, from mid-April, and we're revisiting that. So we do have a potential double top also in the Dow. And that would rotation zone on the daily and the weekly would be out of the way. Russell, back into consolidation. I'm actually surprised with the strength of the Russell, but it could be just month end. And look at the VIX. I mean, wow. 1577? 1577. Look, I mean, look at this. Holy smokes. Well, this is lows from still pandemic level lows. This is just getting in there. Nobody's afraid of anything right now. Let's just buy everything. DAX, this is actually triple top. But it might be, we'll have to look on the, no, it's not even on the weekly. Nothing much there other than daily cycles are at the bottom again. So the DAX could see a breakout next week. The DAX could see a breakout. Major target areas 16,245, minor 16,175. The notes, I mean, look at this. We actually have stagflationary data in the notes. The yield's dropping today, but there's no great pattern, so nothing I'm looking at there. VIX is kaput. I'm still, yeah, the 0-day VIX or the 1-day VIX. We just don't have. I mean, it's sitting in it's running 13, but that's with a shorter volatility. But it is, it's going to be interesting. What happens if the daily fix runs at a higher volatility than the monthly fix? I mean, a high, yeah, that's going to be funny. Here's your yield on that 10-year, just rolling over. Wow. Dollar index after the spike up this morning, coming back into consolidation, but nothing. We still have the potential double top. Did that actually get higher than here? I didn't check that. Because when it started dropping, I was not worried about it triggering. 101.79, 101.78. No, so it's not a confirmed double. But that's still crude. With the percent B buy followed through nicely back to the flattened rotation zone, but more importantly, the breakdown level. So the percent B buy on a break from yesterday's high, following through really nicely to the key level. Got there in one day. Gold. Gold has gone nowhere. Wow. So nothing much to talk about there. The yen on its way to the final target. So besides going up, nothing else to talk about there. Euro still has a potential double top in place, not triggered or confirmed. Another rotation back up would turn it into a triple, and then it would be off the table. The pound finally broke to the upside, but not hitting the next key target area of 126. The old Bitcoin still has a potential double top. Very muted today. Tesla, which had some massive 0-day options going off, returned to the daily rotation zone. So I will be watching next week for a potential rollover play. Also, the 10Q came out, and I didn't think it was very positive. But we had all the options going off, so I will be watching next week for a potential rollover play. All right. What stocks or bonds benefit up? Stagflation is horrible for stocks. Bonds? I mean, they'd have to keep driving up short-term rates. So you got short-term yield curve. But, that's it. I mean, stagflationary, what I'll have to think about what other, because now you have a recession and prices aren't backing down. So the consumer just gets hammered. It's not good for a consumer. 0-day options ruin my swing trading plays forever. Well, I don't know if it'll be forever. Thanks. Hit that like Mike button. Agreed. I make a point to hit that like before I start watching. Everybody hit the like. Thank you very much for saying that. I think the 0-day, when we start getting some rollover plays and volatility to the downside, these 0-day options could be. I actually think it will be the unraveling of a bunch of stuff. Personally. No guarantee there, but I am very curious. Daniel's looking more to the weeklies. Oh, premium sell for a while. Oh, are you asking Daniel premium selling? Hey, Michael Anthony. Michael, what do you think on Dish? Well, let's take a look. What do I think on Dish? Well, you got earnings next week, right? Is that next week? Friday, May 5th? Yeah. I'd be watching for a bottoming play based off this chart. And I mean, your rotation zone is back at just under 9 on the weekly. Let's see what the breakdown level is. 850. Is there a strong bottoming pattern? No. if I was trying to structure a trade going in and I was bullish on this going into earnings, the two levels I'd utilize is $8 then $8.50 personally. And I don't have any view on if it will pop, and I don't have a strong bottoming pattern. It could technically roll over beginning next week and form some kind of bottoming pattern, but this is not a strong bottoming pattern just yet. So that's where I'd structure targets. We're not in a recession yet. There's been no way they'd label this a recession yet. No way. Unemployment's still way too low. You have, I mean, now we might be getting to second quarter, might have a negative GDP, but we'll have to see. Again, the first quarter's not looking like it's going to be a negative print of GDP. Second quarter, if we start getting a spike in unemployment, you know, if the non-farm payrolls numbers start coming in, you start climbing towards 4 and then potentially over 4, and we start getting negative GDP prints, maybe people start officially saying, hey. But at this point, I don't see, nobody's going to, the board that labels it would, there's no way they label this as a recession right now. No way. I don't see it, at least. Oh, premium selling for stagflation. Well, stocks would generally do not fare well in stagflation. So, yeah, I mean, premium selling, I would not be premium selling puts. I mean, you might be doing stuff like premium selling on calls, especially covered calls if you're still holding stuff. I'd be looking at more valued stuff that is actually value that the consumer still needs. We just don't have it. You know, here's my problem. And I've talked about this many times. Like Coke. All right. Something like this is Coke can do even well in multiple environments, but do I want to own Coke at a PE of 28? No. This is the challenge. The value's not a value. Look at Pepsi. 39. These are trades, not something I want to own. Coming in on the next harmonic, by the way. I mean, I don't want to be a long-term owner yet because we get stagflation where it's gonna really hamper their ability to pass along any pricing power. Consumers will have to get very picky, and I'm going to pay up at nearly 40 times earnings for Pepsi? No. No. So that's where you start looking at this stuff. It gets really challenging. I mean, as we've said before, look, I'll take 8%, 15 times earnings on the now up to this rally. I mean, 15, yeah, this could drop back to 13, but you're still collecting. It could drop back down into key support, but you're still collecting 8%. Versus Pepsi trading 40 times and paying a dividend of 2.4% at 40 times earnings. If this were to come down at 20 times earnings, what you're talking about, I mean, let's assume earnings stayed flat. You're talking about like chopping the price in half. You think 2%, 2.5% dividend yield, which is going to go up if the price goes down. But even that, it's not going to cover your loss of your capital loss. That's the challenge in this environment. You know? Just wanted to see. I forgot to look how Amazon. Ooh, that was a big. So we do have a still potential double top in Amazon. That'll be interesting. I look at it for some commodities, yes. I just don't highlight it on the channel. I'd just be here all day. So my NASDAQ targets are not working. Which ones? Yeah, but you need to have prints of negative. Recession rescheduled to 2024. We could still have it the second half of 2023. All right. Since we got Apple next week. By the way, no potential double top anymore. Apple, let's see if it hits the next target, 171.63. And who said that? Yes, it's just time to enjoy the ride. That's why in the short term, everything's in trail mode. Everything's in trail mode still from the equity point of view. What's nice is we do have topping patterns. So if you're trying to keep the ride, you can keep wider stops unless these double tops are triggered. And they might never be triggered. Get that all the time. Well, these are targets down here. Well, it's not even triggered. So this could go away before it's ever triggered. If I don't analyze both sides of the markets, I can get caught off guard. And the NASDAQ, if it breaks out next week, the major cluster area is 13,540, 13,541, 13,556. All right, that's where we sit. I doubt anyone here has made any money day trading. Okay, you can doubt that, but there are people who make money day trading. It's fewer and far between. So, but people do make money day trading. I've been in this industry since '92. So, you know, but I think more people should stick to swing trading or longer term. There are a lot of people that I've known who've been in this industry a very long time. Now, what's a day trader? Look, if you get in and out of a position on one day, because all right, I'll give you an example. Are you a day trader? I said I was watching the high yesterday with a follow through close. I also showed you where a key target area of 77 was in crude. So if this was entered and then exited because of a Friday coming to the target, is that a day trader? Or because this could have been a swing trade too. This could have been a multi-day trade, but it happened to go straight to target in one day. Is that a day trade or a trade that happened over a day? Because there are trades that happen over multiple days. There are trades that can get in and out on one day. There are days that there are no trades. So what's that? Tell me. See, a day where people get into trouble with day trading is they think they have to trade every day. There might not be good setups every day. There might be days with no setups. So this is where, I mean, how do you define it? So FRC looks like they're going into receivership. Actually, I have made money and making money. I turned off my brain and just bought the dips and went long, stayed long, never held anything overnight in this casino. Well, there you go. And I know I've taught you options 22. I know you've made money in this. So, but yep, the market makes 0 cents and it doesn't have to make sense. That's why you have to take the trades that set up. And if there's no setups, there's no trade. And you can't say, well, I think the market should be, I think the S&P should be 2,500. Doesn't matter what I think. And that way I was just throwing that number out there. I think the S&P should be 3,900. Well, it doesn't matter. It's trading at 4190. So is there a trade? You know, market makers manipulate the market. They can do a little stuff with it, but they don't manipulate the broad market. You can game the market. And I used to be an options market maker. Thank you, Options 22. I used to be an options market maker. There was very little I could do to manipulate the market. Very little. Are there games that could be played? Yeah. But there's no way I could manipulate the broad market, let alone a bunch of us could manipulate the broad market. It's gotten a little easier with some stuff like 0-day options because of the gamma effect. But still, if there's major selling pressure, it'll get steamrolled. Even a massive call buying by a ton of people will get steamrolled with major selling pressure. So, that's where I'm not big into manipulation and this, that, the other thing. Because people will just use that as an excuse if they don't have good strategies. If the market's going against what they think should happen, it's manipulated. I mean, I've been doing this, what are we, 2023? I've been doing this since 92. So 31 years. I've seen all different kinds of markets. Do I think this market's rational right now? No. But it doesn't matter. Is there a trade? Is there a trade? Do I think it should be trading 23 times earning on the S&P? No. But if it were to break out next week, there are higher targets. What do you do? Just like some people if it triggers the double top, some people say, that's going to fail. The market's not going down. A lot of people think we're in a new bull market. That's what they can think. So they're going to shrug off the topping patterns if it ever triggers. Until then, doesn't matter. What I'm trying to get people to do is analyze both sides of the markets, wait for your setups. When you have setups that trigger, trade with your setup and manage risk. I've talked about this hundreds of times. You manage risk first. Reward takes care of itself. You manage risk. How do you manage risk? You know where your stops are, you know where your targets are, and then you manage your position size. Are you going to win every trade? No, not by any fact. Are you going to take an account and 100 times in a year? No, not unless you were gambling. And most people blow themselves up before getting some great outcome. Do we have any resources like overall institutional or hedge positioning? Goldman puts out reports, based off of positioning of institutions and hedge funds. FRC's going into receivership. I thought I saw that. FDIC prepares to place First Republic Bank into receivership immediately. There you go. It's going into receivership Friday afternoon. It's done. There you go. Ninja, a potential hasn't even been triggered yet. There's tons of, look, even Christoph has tested out doubles. Double tops, I think in his testing, double tops, he was at 65%, double bottoms were 70%. Remember, it has to trigger first. It's not even triggered. Again, we rally up next week, these targets will go away because it was never triggered. GM. Then I'm going. GM. By the way, you watch. Where is this thing? I'm just looking. Keep an eye on this. Keep an eye on this. With this is a %B buy on a weekly basis. It would need next week to close above this week's high, and it's against key support. Keep an eye on that if you're looking for a bullish play. On the daily, I'd be watching for a rotation back down and then a potential setup on a daily. All right. And I said 2 days ago, the pattern got stopped. That's why I listed the stop. Ninja. Look, I'll completely agree. Even the odds. Look, let's even go by Christoph's, not even my numbers. Christoph doing his testing. 65% for double tops. What does that mean? 35% are going to be wrong. But in those 35%, some are going to go to the first target, which is stop production, or some people take profits, some profits at the first target. So you're not losing your whole stuff. Was this one stopped out? Yes. Well, Christoph, since he's in Germany, he's probably not on tonight because it's late there. So the doubles work for me is all I know. That's why just showing people one pattern. Again, you don't have to trade them how I do. You don't have to do anything. I'm just showing people something consistent that they can learn, and then they can choose to take Christoph's testing it. Some people just trade them. Right away. Exxon, again, hitting all-time highs and then backing off. By the way, this is not a double top. Hey, Quasimodo. All right, I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we'll see you back on Monday morning. With that, I shall talk to everyone. Again, not a boring trading week next week, so we shall have to see. When, not where's the beef? PTLO? I already answered that. No, because it depends if there's setups. PTLO is finally, looks like you got a closing breakout. The real thing I'd be watching is if you get a close above 22.11. When are earnings? Thursday. Oh. Portillo's. I haven't eaten at Portillo's in a while. I think that's insane trading at a P to E of 79 though. All right. I shall talk to everyone later. Bye for now.